So for this graph, we're going to show how to do multiple behavior graphs within on one sheet. Here you can see I've listed out my date, I've listed out my behaviors. Non-compliance, I don't have any data in yet because I'm going to explain to you how you should enter your data. So you're going to take your calculator here, and I have data for, so my first one is 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So I'm going to take my 08, or my 8 seconds, and divide it by 60, and that gives me my 0.13. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to enter 2.13. This way it's all consistent and you know what you're doing. I'm going to go back here. My next one is 29.23. So I'm going to divide 23 by 60 for my 60 seconds. That's 38.33. So I'm going to put in 29.33, 38. Okay. My next one is 41 seconds. So I'm going to divide 41 divided by 60, 68.3. So you round down, it's going to be 68, and you get the gist. So I'm going to quickly enter in some more data here. Um, 0.4. That way, just as long as you consistently do that across the board, it will be, someone else would be able to look at your graph and understand what's going on. They won't get confused. Because if you try to enter it in by like quarters or halves or anything, it can get a little confusing. But if you always divide your seconds by 60, you will get a consistent number across the board. All right, so now we'll, obviously that's not supposed to be that. Now that I have that, I'm going to begin making all of my behavior data graphs. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to view. I'm going to go to freeze, and I'm going to hit row 1. This way, this freezes my thing. So as I scroll down, you can see my date, aggression, elopement, and noncompliance falls down. So when you eventually have 76 sessions, you still know which column you are in. All right, we are going to go up here and we are going to highlight, insert, go to chart, disregard my grandfather clock going off behind me. All right, so I personally like to go through and make each one right at the beginning. Makes it a little less confusing just to know I have each one, and then I can go through and make them pretty. So I have my aggression. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Don't worry, I will clarify how to get rid of that. There might be an easier way, but this is currently the way I do it, so that's the way. I'm going to show you guys how to do it too. All right, first let's go on up here to aggression versus date. Okay, so obviously this is just aggression, so we don't need any other label other than just aggression. So label it aggression, center it, you're doing great. All right, horizontal is going to be session date. If you do it daily, obviously you can do session date. If you do it end of the week, like if you just do every Friday, like for your total for the whole week, if it's like more for your skill acquisition, obviously for your behaviors, you're going to want daily data, but for your skill acquisition, you can do an end of the week date just to explain what's going on. So this is going to be session date because we have it where we want to track every one. Obviously make it black in case it's not. We'll go to the vertical axis, and this is where you are going to describe what it is. So frequency of aggression. Never hurts to put this of behavior just so no one can get confused about what you are talking about. All right, we're going to go to the series, change it black. We're making it pretty. Like always, I like to make mine 0.4 so you can really see them. Go down, make trend line. Trend lines and behavior data are specifically important because as you were explaining to parents, or your BCBA is explaining to parents, if their child's aggression or their behavior is decreasing, increasing, we want to be able to show that because sometimes without it, it's a little bit hard to see the data itself. We don't have a legend. We don't need it. I'm going to go the horizontal axis, make it dark. You want to make your labels consistent. We're going to treat our labels as text. It just helps ensure that we get all of them there versus just a few. Right here, currently our minimum value, you can fill it in if you want to, but we are pretty close to 10, so honestly let's bring it up. And then obviously if or not obviously, if suddenly you have a sudden spike in a behavior, you're going to need to go in and change the maximum point, because if for instance you suddenly have a day where I'm engaging in say 22 behaviors, suddenly it's no longer on the graph. So just make sure you go in and change that to ensure that it stays on. All right, turn your color to black. You have your data, and there you go. There's your regression graph. All done, nice and complete. And as you saw, as I entered that 22, your next date comes in. You are more than welcome to add in your next point, and it'll just add right on. Okay, so next we're going to go down to here for aggression and elopement. This isn't actually aggression and elopement, it is just elopement. So we're going to label it so we know. Center it, make it black. All right, and there we're going to go back to setup. Now, you do not need the aggression data on here, so we are going to just remove it. And now we're back to what we need. We need just elopement, and that's it. So then go here, back to this. Let's get your horizontal session date, make it black. Your vertical axis, we're going to do frequency of elopement, make it black. Oh, not gray, black. All right, your series, again, you always want it to be black. Point size is 4. There you go. You can see that you do have some zeros down there, but you can at least still see them. Always add in your trend line just so you can see. Here you can see that we've got a nice decreasing trend. It's very exciting. All right. We don't have a legend. It went away as we deleted the aggression data. So here, 90. I'm going to treat labels as text. Again, you're not always going to have to click this. I believe once you start inserting more and more dates, they will just come out and you won't have to worry about it. But at the beginning, you might want to, just to ensure that you get to see all of your dates, because it might get a little confusing if not. I'm going to go to my y-axis and I'm going to turn it. For now, let's do 0 to 10. If something, oh, see, that's too much. So let's do 0 to 6. You don't want to screw your graph too much, as you can just see when I put in 10 right there. It makes it really hard to read. You can hardly tell what this trend line is doing. So let's make it out of 6. And obviously, if anything were to happen, we can go and change it. All right. So there is your elopement. Now we're going to click down here, and remember this is just non-compliance. Showed you how to calculate your data to make sure it was consistent. Now we're going to go to setup, and you are going to delete aggression and elopement. It's not like we need it. So now we have our stuff. We're going to go back to customize, horizontal, session date, make it black, Woohoo. Vertical. This is going to be duration of non-compliance. And you can you have this duration in minutes. So putting min next to it doesn't hurt. It reduces confusion and any misinterpretation of your graph. Always make sure you have a point size so everyone can see where your data's at. Add your trend line. Got a nice decreasing trend there. It is black. All right. We no longer have a legend because we got rid of the other data. Make sure we do this. Oh, there you go. See, this one you have all of your data points already because we have treated it. Make them 90. It lets more fit in there. Vertical. Make it black. As always. And here, because we have this high number of non-compliance, it doesn't hurt to just keep it at 30. So we can do 0 and let's do 35. And here too, I forgot to mention, you want to make it total duration of in minutes of non-compliance. Again, if you think this is a little bit too wordy, we know that this is non-compliance. You don't have to have that there. And then you can just have total duration. It's in minutes. There is your behavior graph. So now that you're all set up with those graphs, you get your behavior data for the next week. You can just come in, hit enter. I've got maybe a 2.5 and go over here, add in 5, 16, 19. Maybe I really decreased my aggression, increased my elopement a little bit, and my non-compliance dropped to 0. I don't know, maybe I just was really doing well this week. So there you see the 16 and 15 added in for all of your behavior. So there you have it.